How
How
I
I
drew
drew
this.
this. Okay, hey Shiuan.
Hey, Bobby.
So today we're going to do another How I Drew This video. Today's video, this one is going to be special because I'm going to get into materials with you, right?
Nice.
We were talking about materials actually before this video, and so
Mhm,
many things that we were talking about was, I thought, really interesting because a lot of times what we say is brushes don't matter.
mhm.
The paper doesn't matter. It's how you use the stuff that really matters, which is true to an extent.
Yeah, to an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah. Sometimes if the material is not right, you actually end up fighting the drawing more than you should be.
Absolutely. Okay, so the way that I hold my pencil, it's not like how I write, for example. It's
Mm-hmm.
using the side of the pencil because when you use the side of the pencil, all of a sudden you kind of have this, you have the same amount of contact as, say, like if you're using a chisel tip for a calligraphy pen,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have like a linear kind of area of
Mm.
surface touching.
Like a broader surface?
Yes, yes, broader towards one direction, and then super thin if you go another direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's exactly the surface area that's contacting the paper right now, because I'm using a cone-shaped, object. If I want to draw something really lightly, then I would make marks with the side of the pencil going perpendicular to the direction of the pencil, how I'm holding the pencil. Then if I want to do something more precise, I would draw lines going with the direction of my pencil, parallel to my pencil, so that it's a nice sharp line.
Mm-hmm. So that it's crisp.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
Now, we also
Yeah.
want to talk about the tooth of the paper, right?
Mhm.
Why would you want to use a toothier paper? Well, the toothier kind of paper is going to give more texture to all of your lines. That makes
Mm-hmm.
perfect sense. You can't draw smooth of a line with a very textured piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would you want that? Have you ever noticed when you're painting traditionally, you can get away with so much more than
Yeah.
when you're painting with a nice, clean digital brush? It's because there's texture.
Yeah,
Texture
totally.
allows for more of your imagination needed
Mm.
to, visualize the painting. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it. When you see something clear as day, you're not going to really picture it as anything else. But when you see something fuzzier, when you see something with less contrast, more texture, a lot more textural information, then you have to use your imagination, like something in the bushes, looking at clouds in the sky. You kind of have to piece it all together yourself through, seeing beyond the texture.
Mm. And I remember like we were also talking about this before about how you started this piece with like a basic shape. And like I was asking you like, oh, like, do you already have an idea of like what's it gonna be? And you were telling me like you didn't really like how the legs of this creature was turning out to be. And you said like um sometimes you look at a shape and then you decide what it becomes. Kind of like how you were saying before. You look at the clouds and then you kind of shift them and morph them into something else. And this is like an old idea that you actually already have.
Yeah, I don't like to start off with something absolutely new a lot of times. I like to at least start off with an idea. I don't like to just start on the paper and hopefully something will materialize.
Mm.
Even though I have done that as well, it's just my preferred method is, yeah, already having an idea. So sometimes the best way to do that is to have a starting point, and that starting point can sometimes be your old drawings, your old ideas. So I started this one off with an old idea in mind. Um, and as the image started to progress, I started to deviate from that idea more and more. And then as I started to deviate from the idea, I started to notice things that I didn't like about the idea anymore. And one of them were the legs. The legs look like deer legs, like little chicken really not chicken legs, but um, really, really thin legs that are meant to bounce about, and the body of the creature didn't look like that. It didn't look like that at all.
Mm.
So because of that, it's kind of like when you picture a rhino. You can't really picture a rhino with these deer-like legs. It's so heavy, it's gonna fall over.
So I have a question that like at this point, like what made you choose the body over the legs and not the legs over the body?
Yeah, because as I started to draw the different characters on top of the creature, I started to look at the creature's body and going aquatic, fish,
Mm.
something, and then from there it was like a no-brainer to get rid of those legs
Mm.
and to add
Yeah.
in some fins.
Mm. You needed that look of the weight to carry those creatures sitting on top, riding on top.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess so.
That's what I got from it anyway. But
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think the biggest idea here were the
mm,
two characters riding on this creature rather than
mm,
the legs.
right, right. It serves the idea more.
Now, one thing that I did want to mention, we were talking about reference, is I do love working from reference. Not necessarily in the very beginning. A lot of times in the very beginning, I avoid reference and I'll just do something out of my head. But then afterwards, when I'm going more towards a finished thing, then I love to look for reference to just get little bits and pieces that I might integrate into my own my own
Mm-hmm.
piece. And that's something I wish I could have done with this one.
Right. Oh, so this is like done totally without a reference, right?
I did have my old drawing to start off with, though. But like in
Mm.
terms of like photographs and such, no. Now, this pen, maybe we could talk about that as well. This is from the airport at the Dublin airport when we were in Ireland together. This pen, I looked at it, and I was like, wow, it has 6 colors. Usually you see like maybe 3 colors or something. So I was like, yeah, I want to get this pen. Is it the best pen in the world? I don't know. I don't really think so. Will it create big globs of ink that will spontaneously go onto your page? Yeah, it will. So constantly roll your pen every once in a while. You'll see throughout this video, I go to the
Mm.
side a bunch of times, and that is precisely why I'm rolling my pen
Mm.
whenever I go off screen. Right, and last thing I guess we can talk about here is the color. I was saying that this pen has color. It has 6 different colors, and you can't give an artist a bunch of colors with them eventually trying to use it. So I was using the pen onto just a little bit of the red ink onto the coat of the little fish guy and the face of the little liquid guy. Now,
Mm-hmm.
interesting thing about that was it wasn't like I could get as dark as if I used black. And it wouldn't even seem like that object is getting darker to a certain extent until I use the black. So in other words,
Mm-hmm.
if I use that red and I pressed as hard as I could and I filled it out with solid red,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, I would still need to go over it with black for the areas that get darker and start to go into indirect light, like when it goes past the terminus.
Right. Like that little bit under the hand.
Yeah, underneath that arm.
Mm.
I was trying to just suggest the little fish guy putting his arms behind its back like a little kung fu master that knows everything.
Leading the way kind of body language.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking with that. And of course, don't forget to subscribe because you might not find this channel again if you haven't subscribed. And then push the notification button. That way you'll get instant notification next time we put up a new video. And if you'd like to see anything else, if you have any questions that we can cover in the future, put them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.